Breathing is the first intelligence. The second intelligence is drinking. Drinking water, fluids, milk. You come out, you have your first breath, and you're ready for your first drink of milk, which is mostly water. Being able to stay hydrated, water is where life evolves. Whether it was in the oceans or in lake beds or wherever, it makes no difference. Water is an essential component of life, and without water, we don't find any life the way we know it. We need water for life to grow and to thrive. So the hydration state of your body is essential. And before we continue, I want to apply a simple metaphor, a simple analogy, which is if you want to ride a bicycle, and you know how to ride a bicycle, all you need to do is just look at the bicycle and see if the tires have air in them, if the chain is functioning, the brakes are working, and that's it, right? You just can ride the bicycle. Maybe you have to adjust the seat, right? And that's it. That's all you need. If you want to drive a car, you want to look at the gauges because you want to know if it needs gas or not. And if the battery voltage thing is too low, you're going to have a problem with the car. And if the temperature reading is too high, you're going to have a problem with the car. So you're going to have gauges on an automobile that you won't have on a bicycle. And you're driving, if you want to make sure you get from here to there, you're going to look at your gauges. And if you want to fly an airplane, there's more gauges to look at. There's more things to consider. And if you want to fly a space shuttle, there's even more gauges and more shuttles, more things to consider. And for the body, if you wish to function consciously at peak performance, you're going to want to look at the different gauges. And think of breathing as your air gauge, your oxygen, carbon dioxide gauge. Being aware of your breath is like paying attention to a very essential part of your life, because the first thing you're going to do is take a breath, and the last thing you're going to do is let go of that final breath. Okay? So breathing is the base intelligence that we want to start with. The intelligence we want to start with is hydration awareness and hydration intelligence, water intelligence. When your body has the right water balance, everything is going to function smoothly. And if you are low on water, as you start to get dehydrated, what's going to happen is that your body is going to start to function less efficiently. As you lose more and more water, if you don't rehydrate, if you start to get dehydrated, the body is going to start to malfunction. And if you drink too much water, you can hurt your body too. You can actually have water poisoning by drinking too much water because you can flush too many electrolytes out of your body. So knowing how much water to drink is valuable, because managing your hydration levels is like knowing how much water you have in the radiator of your car, and you're going to drive across a desert. When you want to make sure that your radiator has the right amount of water, and maybe if it's going to be really hot, wouldn't you want to bring some extra water just in case? So when you are improperly hydrated, especially if you are underhydrated, you're dehydrated, your body's going to go into stress. And that stress is going to affect your nervous system. And you're going to go into fight or flight mode very rapidly. And your breath will start to get altered. You'll begin to notice that you start getting tense and stressed, and anxiety and fear and disorientation will start to occur. And sometimes the only thing you need to do is to just have a glass of water. Just like that. So I've set up a very simple guideline for you to determine what your hydration levels are. The first thing is, at the first hint of being thirsty, drink a glass of water. And then notice how you feel. If you still feel thirsty, drink another glass of water. So that's simple. And just to avoid any chance of dehydration, I never leave a source of water thirsty. In other words, I leave my house hungry to go to my favorite restaurant to eat something. I leave my house ready to go to a bar to have my favorite beer or wine or soda. It doesn't really matter. But I don't leave thirsty from my house. So even if I'm going to the restaurant, even if I'm going to go to the bar, I hydrate because I don't know what's going to happen along the way. Because I know that my body will go into, will function less effectively when I dehydrate. So, how do I know that I'm hydrating properly? Well, it's basically trial and error. Okay? All plants and all animals are different in that they all need various amounts of breathing and eating and drinking and all of that. But all plants need a certain amount of air, a certain amount of water, and a certain amount of food. And your body needs a certain amount of air, a certain amount of water, a certain amount of other nutrients in order to function at peak performance. So, as you become dehydrated, your mind will start to race and it will start to malfunction. If you're aware and you're witnessing and you're watching your mind, you'll notice that this is happening. You'll start to get cranky, you'll start to get crabby, you'll start to... So just drink a glass of water and see what happens. Now, the water goes in through your body, gets absorbed into your body, and it cleans your body of toxins. And that eliminates your body through your urine. So the easiest way to measure if you're drinking the right amount of fluids for the situation, for the environment, for the nutrients, for everything that you're doing, is to monitor the water that's going in and monitor the water that's coming out. Does that make sense? So having aware of water knows just air coming in, air coming out. Water coming in through your mouth, and the water coming out of your body through perspiration and sweat, and through urine, through pee. Mm-hmm. So what I have done, and what I invite people to do, is to keep track of how often you pee and how much you're peeing. And then also very important is pay attention to the quality of the urine. By the quality, I mean the color, the clarity, smell. Those are the first three basic things to pay attention to. So most humans, just biologically the way your bladder is set up, most male humans will urinate an average of about 3 to 5 times a day. Your bladder will fill about 3 to 5 times in a day. That's on average under regular situations. Okay? And that urine will be clear, not cloudy or turbid, and it will be slightly yellow. If it's darker yellow or orange, it means you are slightly dehydrated. And if it's clear like white, it means that you might be overhydrating. So the solution is simple. The next time you go to pee, the next time you need to urinate, pay attention to the urine. The urine should be light yellow and clear. If the urine is very dark, drink a couple of glasses of water and wait for the next time that you go and look at it, and you should notice that it's more clear. Now, when I wake up in the morning, the urine will be more concentrated, so it will be darker yellow, more orange. It should be clear, and it will have a slightly stronger smell. And then you drink some water, and you have a breakfast, and the next time you urinate, which will probably be within a couple of hours, will be light yellow, clear, and it should not have as strong of a smell or a scent, if any, compared to what came out of your body. Following along the lines, the female body has a slightly smaller bladder. So female bodies tend to urinate between 5 and 8 times a day. Because there's smaller bladder because the uterus, the reproductive organs are there and take up a certain amount of space. So you will go more often, and you'll be able to contain less urine. It is advisable to not try to contain your urine any longer than you need to. because you don't want to stretch out your bladder. So when you need to go, if you can go at the earliest convenience, you pee. Now, let's say that your first pee is orange, dark yellow, and then the next one is light yellow, and the next one comes out clear and white. That's perfectly fine. In your next meal, notice after your next meal if it gets color again or not. If it has no color, add some fruits and vegetables to your diet, and you will see that they will instantly get color, because the colors are an indication of the vitamins and the salts and the minerals in your urine. Right? So ideally, your body could be going from a darker, more concentrated yellow to a light yellow to a clear to a light yellow to a clear to a light yellow to a clear to you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you have a dark yellow and it goes clear again. And if you are in a cold place, humid, cold place, you will probably drink water than if you're in a hot, dry place. You drink less water than if you're in a hot, dry place. So in a hot, dry place, you'll sweat water, you'll perspire water, and you will, like you're drinking, and you'll need to drink more water. Now, if your urine is at least light yellow once a day, you don't really run any dangers of any mineral or vitamin deficiencies. But if your urine is continuously clear, then you run the danger of losing vitamins and electrolytes. So having the right electrolyte balance is part of water intelligence, because every single cell in your body has a delicate balance of two critical electrolytes, sodium and potassium. And sodium and potassium have to be maintained at a certain critical level.
Hydration level and performance graph. So what we're looking at this graph is we're looking at our body has a specific amount of water that allows us to perform at peak performance. Because remember, our cells are like tiny little batteries, and they have electrolytes and they have a certain amount of water. And the 30, 50, 100 trillion cells in our bodies, each with a tiny, tiny microliter amount of water, each of these cells need a certain amount of water in order to function properly as batteries. So we have a 2-liter window of water where we can lose up to 2 liters of water and still stay within good performance. And then we have like a window of like 1 liter plus or minus half a liter of water, which is just a couple of glasses of water, right? So as long as we stay in this range here, we're in the good. And if we stay in this range, we're at peak performance. In other words, too much water can reduce our performance. And if you drink way too much water, you can have water poisoning. You can actually hurt yourself because you can lose too many electrolytes. Same as if you become dehydrated. As you lose hydration levels, you can reduce your efficiency, and of course we can die of dehydration. So it's important to, once again, learn how to titrate, learn how to calibrate, learn how to just figure out how much water the unique individual thinking, feeling body needs in order to performance, for your performance to be at peak or at least at good performance. So, and then we're looking at our activity levels and how our water levels will drop. So you have a glass of water before going to bed because you're going to lose some water. You're going to sweat it out, especially if you're in a climate-controlled space where there's drying air conditioning or heating, or you're in a very hot place. Your body has a capacity to lose water. But you can figure out how much water you need to drink to be able to sleep 8 hours and wake up at peak performance without having to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Then you wake up and you drink a liter of water, and that brings you to peak performance. And then depending on whether you're having low level, medium level, high level, or extra high level of activity, our hydration levels will drop. In other words, we can consume and use a liter of water in 8 hours if we're laying quietly and not doing anything. In 4 hours, if we have a low level of activity, we can lose a liter of water in an hour, in as little as half an hour, or in as little as 15 minutes. You can lose a liter of water in 15 minutes. This is a technique, for example, that I learned when I was wrestling in high school. If I needed to weigh in at a certain weight and I was a couple of pounds higher than, I would put on some sweats. I'd go into the locker room bathroom. I'd turn on the hot showers, and I would run around and do jumping jacks and sweat the water away. I would wrap aluminum foil around my legs, under my sweats, and around my tummy, and in 15 minutes I could lose a kilo of water. Weigh myself in, drink a liter of water, and I'm at peak performance again, ready to go out and win my wrestling match. So it's very important to learn, once again, you're a subjective scientist. Your body is a unique individual thinking, feeling body that consumes and releases water under different conditions. And learning to be thirsty before you need water. Drinking, always having a glass of water before leaving a source of water to go out on the road or for a meal or even to go out for a drink or to go out for a run or for an extreme experience. You bring along the amount of water that you need in order to be able to, over a 24-hour period, stay at peak performance. And at the very least, stay at good level performance. And what you want to avoid is going into the caution or danger zones. And this is something that only you can figure out for yourself. It just requires paying attention to yourself and how you consume water under different conditions. All right, so here's an example of what low hydration levels would look like. So let's say that you went to bed and you had a glass of water and you woke up and you were at peak performance and at the bottom of it. And you had a glass of water, a glass of juice, and you also had a coffee. And then you went out and you didn't think about drinking water for a couple of hours. Well, the coffee, the caffeine in certain beverages acts as a diuretic. So you sweat water, you lose water, and you start to feel thirsty because you start to feel a little tired and thirsty and headachy. So you drink some water, and now you're at good level. So you feel good because you just drank some water. And what you don't know is that you could have drank a little more and gotten yourself up to here. But so you stay here, and then you drop back down, and you're busy at work, you're studying, or you're busy at your work, whatever you're doing, and you start to get really tired. So you feel dizzy, you drink some water, and you stay here. And then most people are kind of at this level. And when you're at this level, your body goes into hypnagogic state. And then at some point you'll feel really tired, and then you'll drink something, you'll eat something, some fruit, something that hydrates you enough to bring you to good levels. And a lot of people just stay at this level. And this affects your performance tremendously. Just like having inappropriate blood sugar levels with spikes and drops. The same thing can happen with water. And between having poor blood sugar levels and having low hydration levels, we're losing 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of our capacity to function, of our peak performance. So this is something really to be mindful of. And once again, you figure it out by studying yourself, by bringing awareness to your hydration levels, so that you can figure out how to stay at peak performance.